As we go on the air at noon, another look at what was a long night across central Florida. Hurricane Milton thrashed the Sunshine State from Sarasota to Orlando. At least 4 people have died in the hurricane. More than 3 million customers have been without power since the start of the storm. Governor Ron DeSantis says water levels may continue to rise for days, but it was not the, quote, worst case scenario he was expecting. Thanks for being here. I'm Kay Quinn. Milton is still a hurricane, but it is now out in the Atlantic. The storm made landfall last night as a Category 3, pummeling Florida's Gulf Coast with heavy rain and winds. Winds that shredded the roof of Tropicana Field. This is the home of the Tampa Bay Rays in St. Petersburg. Panels of the Dome Stadium's roof tore to bits by 100+ mile-per-hour winds. The ballpark was set to host 10,000 first responders and cleanup crews, but those plans changed as the storm got closer. It's not clear yet if the stadium suffered any structural damage. City leaders say there were no injuries reported in that area of downtown St. Petersburg. Missourians headed to Florida to help today. Governor Mike Parson has ordered 100 National Guard troops, 21 highway patrol troopers, civilian support staff, and 5 disaster medical assistance teams to help with recovery efforts. They'll stay in Florida between 5 and 20 days. Volunteers with the American Red Cross Greater St. Louis region are already there. As we've told you, millions of homes and businesses are without power across Florida. NBC's Jay Gray is in Fort Myers as damage assessments continue to roll in.
Yeah, let's give you an idea of what's going on right now. The core of this storm has moved off the peninsula. It's still the back end of this hurricane causing some problems along the East Coast. But let's talk specifically right now about Fort Myers here on the west side of Florida. And this is where the storm made landfall. We're about 80 miles from the center of landfall here. So we saw significant rain, hurricane force winds that pushed a storm surge into businesses along the coastline here. So storm surge was definitely an issue, but you also saw freshwater flooding from these rains. And some areas saw close to 20 inches of rain as the storm moved through. Standing water in the downtown area of Fort Myers right now. That is receding, according to the mayor. And we also know, and this is a bit of good news from him at this point, at least in the Fort Myers area, we know that we haven't seen any significant injuries or deaths as a result of this storm. So that's great news. We do know that this system also spawned at least 24 tornadoes on the East Coast. One of those twisters was deadly here in Fort Myers. A tornado ripped the roof from a home, damaged several businesses. And so that's something they'll be dealing with now. More than 3 million without power across the state. But now with the sun up, crews will be able to get in, get to some of those areas, hopefully start to restore some of that power. That's what you need to really start a recovery process here, and that's where they will begin. They'll begin to clean things up here. What officials are saying is for those that evacuated, and there are several thousand who moved to higher ground, got out of the path of this storm, don't rush back just yet. Let that water recede. Let us get in and do some work. There's nothing you can do at this point anyway, so they're urging people, take your time. Don't cause any problems or put yourself in harm's way trying to get back in too quickly. That's the very latest right now from here in Fort Myers. I'm Jay Gray. Back to you.
Meteorologist Jim Castillo and our entire weather impact team tracked that storm for days. Jim, it's going to take a long time for Florida to recover from this one.
It is, Kay. Even friends and family, we all have someone down there, and I have some pictures coming up from some of my friends that have massive tree damage. But Siesta Key, southwest of Tampa, that's where landfall was official. The center of the storm moved right over that area right at 8:30 p.m. 120 mile per hour sustained winds, gust higher than that, a major Category 3. So Duke, Clearwater, Florida, there it is. These beautiful big oak trees fell on their house there. And they have a lot of cleaning up to do. Several trees came down, damaging the roof, several holes in the roof there. And that's just one family out of many that are cleaning up and calling their insurance companies. So tracking Milton now, it's off the coast of the Atlantic and off the coast of Florida and out in the Atlantic. 80 mile per hour winds, so still a hurricane. And you know, the amazing thing, these tornadoes that were noted throughout here, second most tornado warnings we've ever had in any storm activity yesterday.